What if the greatest form of strength isn't in raising your voice, but in lowering it when they scream in your face? Ever been publicly humiliated and wished you could go back? Handle it like a man of steel, calm and untouchable? Here's the secret they don't teach you. The most terrifying man in the room is the one who doesn't flinch when provoked. Let's be honest, no matter how kind you are, no matter how composed or righteous you try to live, there will come a moment in your life when someone will look you dead in the eyes and try to reduce you to nothing. And they won't do it in silence. They'll do it loudly. They'll do it publicly. They'll do it with words so carefully chosen. It'll feel like they've waited for this opportunity, like it feeds something in them, some sick satisfaction. They'll smirk while they speak. They'll say things meant to make others laugh. Or maybe they won't say much at all, maybe just a glance, a tone, a sarcastic chuckle that carries more venom than any insult. They're not just challenging your opinion. They're challenging your manhood, your presence, and more than anything, your self-control. Now imagine this happening not in private, but in a crowd, in front of your friends, your co-workers, your family. Eyes turn, breaths are held, all waiting for your response. What will you do? Most men crack, and not because they're weak, but because they were never taught another way. They burn with rage, they lash out, thinking that retaliation equals strength. That yelling louder restores dignity. That proving a point earns them respect. But it doesn't, because when you explode, you give the other man exactly what he wanted, a reaction. And the moment you react, you surrender your power. Let's break this down. When someone disrespects you, especially in public, it feels personal. But here's the twist. It's not about you. It's about them. See, insecure men love the spotlight, but they hate the silence. They thrive in chaos. They feel powerful when they can stir emotion in others, because deep down, they have none of that control themselves. So when he targets you, he's not trying to win an argument. He's trying to pull you into the storm with him. And once you step in, you lose. Because the moment your emotions rise to meet his, you're no longer yourself. You're a puppet dancing to his tune. But what if you didn't dance? What if you just stood there, calm, composed, silent? What if your stillness made him question his own rage? That's not passivity. That's power. We've been taught all wrong. From a young age, boys are told, don't let anyone disrespect you. What that usually translates to is, if someone disrespects you, fight back immediately. And so we do, with words, with fists, with pride, but never with wisdom. We think reacting quickly means we're strong. But all it shows is that we can be manipulated. Let's look at what really happens when you react emotionally. You validate their attack. You've now confirmed that they can get to you. You lose control. Emotion takes over logic. And you may say or do something you regret. You lower yourself. By matching their energy, you become part of the same mess. You see, he may throw the first insult, but you decide whether or not it becomes a war. And a wise man doesn't wage war with fools. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once said, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. In other words, no one can truly offend you unless you allow them to. This isn't about being a doormat. It's about mastery. Mastery over the only thing you truly own, your mind. He may throw words like knives, but if they don't land, if they don't pierce your peace, what has he really accomplished? Nothing. Because the insult? It's not the weapon. Your reaction is. That's why when you stay calm, collected, and unbothered, you expose a weakness in the other man. You show him, and everyone watching, that you are unshakable. And let me tell you something. A man who cannot be shaken is a man others fear to challenge. Let's visualize this. Imagine a candle flame in a storm. Winds howl, rain pours, thunder rumbles, and yet, the flame doesn't flicker. It holds, it burns, not brighter, not wilder, just steady. That's the image of a strong man under fire. Because here's the truth. The louder they get, the calmer you must become. If they mock you, smile. If they yell, whisper. If they threaten your pride, tighten your grip on peace. This isn't about arrogance, it's about presence. It's about showing others that you don't dance to the rhythm of chaos. You set your own tempo. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic legend, put it best. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. So let them throw their tantrums. Let them perform. Let them bark. You're not here to entertain. You're here to endure, and enduring in silence. That is the mark of greatness. Silence isn't empty, it's loaded, with discipline, with restraint, with a message louder than any insult ever thrown. Think about it. When someone hurls disrespect and you respond with rage, it's expected. It's ordinary. But when you don't respond at all, now that's unsettling. Because people don't know what to do with silence. They don't know what you're thinking. They don't know what you're planning. They don't know how to label you. And what we cannot label, we fear. There's another truth most men miss. When someone disrespects you publicly, yes, they're attacking you. But there's another layer. The people watching. And trust me, they're watching closely. Not just the aggressor. They're watching you. They want to see how you handle it. How you manage the pressure. How much of your self-worth depends on public approval. And when you stay grounded, when you breathe instead of bark, they remember that. They respect that. Because in a world of emotional volatility, the man who holds himself with composure becomes a symbol of rare strength. Here's a question worth asking. Who are you trying to impress? The guy disrespecting you? The people watching? Your own ego? Truth is, you don't need to prove your worth to anyone. Especially not through outbursts. A man who knows his value doesn't need to show it. He simply lives it. Because validation from others? It's fleeting. But self-respect, that's forever. Now here's the paradox that turns the game upside down. The less you react, the more power you have. That's why some of the most feared men in history weren't the loudest, they were the quietest. Because silence demands attention. When you don't speak, others fill the space with their own fear, their own doubts, their own projections. You become a mirror. And what people see in a mirror is themselves. That's why silence is so dangerous. It forces reflection. And some people aren't ready to face what they see. You want to know what real power looks like? It's not in throwing the last word. It's in having the courage to walk away without needing one. It's walking past a man who tried to tear you down, and not even giving him the satisfaction of your eyes. It's knowing you could destroy him with one sentence, but choosing not to. Because you don't live for drama. You live for discipline. Because dignity is not earned in moments of peace. It's earned in moments of challenge. And walking away doesn't make you less of a man. It makes you more. So let them talk. Let them perform. Let them scream and try to get under your skin. Let them exhaust themselves with their effort to break you. And when they finally look into your eyes and realize that nothing they said moved you, that's when they feel the defeat they never saw coming. Because the storm only wins when it can pull you in. But when you remain still, the storm breaks itself upon you. And now, let's take it even deeper. Because silence isn't just the absence of words. It's a strategy. It's a skill. It's a force that, when mastered, changes everything. So let's go further. Let's unlock the real art of silence. The next level tactics to disarm any aggressor without saying a single word. Silence isn't weakness, it's presence. In the last part, we talked about the quiet strength of a man who refuses to be provoked, who knows that staying still when chaos erupts is a display of mastery. Now let's go further. Let's unpack what happens when that silence isn't just defense, but a powerful offense. Because sometimes, the loudest answer is the one never spoken. There's a moment, a flash, someone throws a sharp word your way, intended to draw blood. To provoke a scene, people turn to you. They expect retaliation. They expect a war of words. But instead, you do something most men never consider. You stay still. You say nothing. You look them directly in the eyes, and allow silence to do the talking. And in that moment, something changes. They shift uncomfortably. They smirk nervously. They speak again, louder this time, hoping to stir you, but the silence remains. And with each second, it grows heavier, thicker, more unsettling. They didn't expect this, because you didn't give them anger. You didn't defend yourself. You didn't explain, retaliate, or justify. You gave them what they truly fear: irrelevance. And that wounds deeper than any comeback could. You see, weak men seek revenge, but strong men, they seek something far greater: mastery. They don't chase arguments. They don't play tug of war with fools. They know that silence has a unique sting, one that echoes longer than any insult. Seneca once wrote, "A great mind is neither elevated nor cast down by insults." What does that mean? It means that true strength, real, internal strength, doesn't spike with praise. And it doesn't crumble under disrespect. It remains steady. Because the wise man doesn't live on emotional roller coasters. He lives on principle, on presence, on unshakable ground. So when someone insults you in front of others, remember this: they're not just looking to hurt you. They're looking to control you. They want to see you flinch. They want to see you overreact. They want to see their words mold your mood like clay. And when you stand unmoved, when you do the unexpected, they're left alone in their own chaos. They expected noise. You gave them silence. They expected weakness. You gave them indifference. And the silence you leave behind? It lingers in their mind. It haunts them. It forces them to sit with their own smallness. Because deep down, they know, if words can't move you, what can? Now let's take it deeper. Let's talk about one of the most misunderstood gifts life gives us: disrespect. Yes, you heard that right. Disrespect can be a gift. Not because it's pleasant, not because it's easy, but because it reveals something most people never get to see: who people truly are, and who you are becoming. You see, every insult hurled at you, every laugh behind your back, every attempt to bring you down, it's all data. It's all information. It shows you where others stand. It shows you what they fear. And most importantly, it shows you where you still have work to do inside yourself. Because if an insult breaks you, then there's a crack that needs sealing. If mockery unravels you, then your roots aren't deep enough yet. But if you take that disrespect and use it as fuel, now you've transformed it. You've turned poison into power. Imagine this: while they laugh, you study. While they mock, you meditate. While they gossip, you grow. Every word they throw becomes a weight you lift. Every slight becomes a flame that forges your edge. And every attempt to tear you down builds the man they fear the most. The man who rises, not with revenge, but with presence, with composure, with excellence they never saw coming. You don't have to clap back. You don't have to win the argument. Because the moment you rise above them, not in noise, but in life, they disappear behind you like shadows at sunrise. Let's pause here. What if I told you that most disrespect isn't about you at all? It's about them, their fear, their insecurity, their inability to face their own reflection. Because they see something in you. Maybe it's your calm, your growth, your potential. And instead of facing their own lack, they try to dim your light. But here's what they don't know. You've been sharpening your silence. While they waste their breath, you train your mind. While they chase approval, you build character. While they throw shade, you plant roots. And one day, when you walk past them, not with bitterness, but with power, they'll feel the weight of what they tried to stop. They'll realize you didn't just survive their disrespect. You used it. Now comes one of the hardest, yet most liberating lessons of all. Forgive, but never forget. Let's be clear. Forgiveness is not about letting someone off the hook. It's not saying what they did was okay. It's not pretending it didn't hurt. Forgiveness is about reclaiming your peace. It's saying, "You will not live in my mind rent-free." It's saying, "I refuse to carry the weight of your offense any longer." Because holding on to hate? That's like drinking poison and hoping they get sick. Letting go doesn't make you weak. It makes you free. But here's the balance. Forgive. But don't forget. Because when someone disrespects you once, they're capable of doing it again. They've shown you their nature, their impulse, their lack of honor. You don't need to hate them. You don't need to seek revenge. But you do need to remember. Because remembering protects you. It builds boundaries. It keeps your circle strong and your spirit sharp. Marcus Aurelius said it best. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. That's it. That's the whole game. You don't need to mimic their weakness. You don't need to fight fire with fire. Just be better, live better, climb higher, and let them watch you do it, knowing they had a chance to stand beside you, but chose to stand against you. So what's the takeaway? You don't defeat disrespect with anger. You defeat it with elevation. You rise above, not because you're too good for the fight, but because you're too focused to be distracted by it. You forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you refuse to let them carry weight in your soul. You remain silent, not because you're powerless, but because your power is far too sacred to be wasted on noise. They'll talk, they'll try, they'll laugh, gossip, scheme, but you build, you evolve, you walk forward, with sharpened minds and heavier hearts, because the man who walks through fire in silence is the man the world remembers, and the man no enemy can touch is the one who has already risen beyond their reach, ready to go even deeper. In the next section, we'll break down how to create an unshakable internal world so that no matter who attacks, mocks, or doubts you, they never get in. We've already seen how silence can be your sharpest weapon, not just a retreat, but a form of power. Now, let's go deeper. Let's explore what it really means to rise in the face of disrespect. Let them talk. Let them whisper behind closed doors. Let them mock, scoff, and cast doubt. Let them try, because we don't stoop to their level. We don't throw stones just because someone else does. We forgive, not because they deserve it, but because we refuse to be held down by bitterness. And in that quiet forgiveness, we rise, but not with noise, not with grand declarations, Not with vengeance we rise in silence. Not everyone will understand that. In fact, most won't, because the world measures a man by how he acts when others are clapping. When the crowd cheers, when he's praised, loved, admired, but that's not how real strength is measured. A true man is not defined by his behavior in moments of celebration. He is revealed in moments of rejection. He is tested when the respect is gone, when the applause fades, when the room turns cold, because that's when you see who he really is. Does he crumble when he's insulted? Does he lash out when they sneer? Does he beg for validation when ignored, or does he stand tall, alone, unmoved, undisturbed? Disrespect, you see, is like fire. It doesn't just burn randomly. It tests. It separates the strong from the weak, the grounded from the insecure, the composed from the reactive. Most men, they burn in its flames. They react, they rage, they let it consume them, but not us. We don't flinch, we don't let their fire scorch our core. We walk through it, head high, heart calm, and when we emerge, we are no longer the same. We are harder. Because pain forged us. We are colder, not in cruelty, but in clarity. We are wiser, because fire teaches. If you're willing to endure in the world, oh, the world, it will keep trying. It will poke and prod. It will test every ounce of your patience, because in a society where most men are ruled by their emotions, by fleeting impulses and unhealed wounds, we walk a different road where others shout. We listen where others strike. We breathe where others collapse. We stand. They will try to insult us, over and over again, sometimes subtly, sometimes directly, sometimes even behind the mask of a smile. They will disrespect us, not because we deserve it, but because our calm exposes their chaos, and they will keep trying. But the truth is, they don't have power over us, because we've already made the choice. We've chosen discipline over emotion. We've chosen silence over outburst. We've chosen mastery over reaction. And that's why the greatest revenge is not anger. It's not slamming the door. It's not shouting the last word. No, the greatest revenge is transformation. It's becoming everything they said we couldn't be. It's turning every insult into fuel. It's proving, not with words, but with presence, that they were wrong about us. And when you rise in that way, in calm, in discipline, in power, there is nothing they can do. Their weapons don't work on you anymore. Their fire can't burn you. Their insults can't shake you, because you have become untouchable. So ask yourself, are you ready to master your mind? Are you ready to walk through fire without flinching? Are you ready to rise above every enemy, every insult, every attempt to break you, without saying a single word? Then this path is for you. This journey is for the few who refuse to be defined by others. It's for those who lead from within. Join the brotherhood. Walk the path of wisdom, and subscribe for more. This isn't just motivation. It's transformation, and it begins in silence.